Hi everyone, it's me, Julia O'Connell. I'm coming on here to discuss the BITE model. The BITE model was developed by Stephen Hassan, which describes 4 key areas of control used by cults and manipulative groups. They are called behavior, information, thought, and emotional control. Behavior. This involves manipulation and actions and routines of individuals, often strict rules, schedules, restrictions on activities, and socializing and leisure. Informational control. This focuses on the control of the flow of information, limiting access to the outside aspects of the organization or outside information or worldview perspectives. Thought control. This process involves manipulation in one's beliefs, thoughts, processes, and often techniques like cognitive dissonance, groupthink, often erodes self-confidence and critical thinking. Therefore, you can never think for yourself. This involved manipulation or emotions and emotional control. This involves manipulation of emotions, relationships, and creating a sense of dependency and isolation, and using guilt or shame or fear to control another human being. I believe Scientology uses all these things in order to control their members. Fair game is a policy, too, that was created by L. Ron Hubbard. It still exists, even though Scientology will tell you that it's no longer in existence. They use this policy to attack any one of their critics of Scientology. They did this with Paulette Cooper in the 1970s, and it was discovered during Operation Snow White, where Scientology infiltrated at least 500 organizations within the U.S. government. They created this policy in order to try to get their critics of Scientology shut down. They use manipulative control tactics. They isolate you. They make you feel like you pulled something in when something wrong happens to you, when it could just be something as simple as a cold or an accident. They make you feel like it was your fault. Scientology controls their members at a very high controlling rate, and it takes 12 and a half years to wipe away or start to peel the onion of all that indoctrination. Because what they do in their auditing sessions is they use a low level of electricity on the e-meter, and it starts reprogramming your brain not to think critically. When you have no more critical thinking, they strip that away, and they make you more indoctrinated into the cult of Scientology. Scientology absolutely uses fair game tactics. They have done it with Mindy. They have done it with Leah Remini. They have done it with Aaron Smith-Levin. They have done it with Mike Rinder. They have done it with all critics of Scientology. This is why some people do not want to protest. So this is my form of protest inside my house. People need to understand that I will do content on Scientology in the comfort of my own home. Scientology creates division within families. Also, if you're declared a suppressive person, anyone you have ever known inside of the Church of Scientology will be forced to disconnect from you. Natalie has stated, in her story that she used to have at least 300 to 400 friends on Facebook that were Scientologists. Within one day, they all unfriended her. This is the way that Scientology uses fear tactics. They use fear tactics against their members because if they are in cahoots with a suppressive person, they could be declared a potential trouble source and also be declared a suppressive person and kicked out of the Church of Scientology. Therefore, they would lose any family members that they've had in there. Please go and look at Phil Jones's story. It's very disturbing. He has 2 children inside the Church of Scientology, which he has not spoken to within the last 10 years. It's very disturbing. Scientology is a disturbing organization, and they use all these policies to control and manipulate their members. You know, they create this thinking. You know, they also use black and white thinking. It's either my way or the highway, or black and white thinking can create a lot of division. Black and white thinking has caused division within this space. It's either you stand for this or you stand for that. There's no middle ground. There's no gray area. There's no time to think. So Stephen Hassan has written a book called Cult Mind Control. I suggest people read it because this is how Scientology controls their members. Scientology, and I really love that the psychologists in the area are talking about how Dianetics is not a proven science. Dianetics has no studies that back up their information. L. Ron Hubbard is a fraud. L. Ron Hubbard lied. The majority of the accolades that he claims he did can be disproven. The Scientology is done like an MLM. They force members to buy these packages, and they are very expensive. By the time you get up to the ClearCog or that, you probably have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just to reach the state of clear. Of course, their first introductory courses sound okay. That's how they hook you in. They hook you in by manipulative tactics. They love bomb you. I've seen some examples of that with my old boss. She used to love bomb me, and then she would tear you down. It's not okay. I don't appreciate it, and I didn't appreciate it, but it is damaging, when you have people who watch every single stream. And there's proof, because Aaron Smith Levin did a video the other day where it was very proven that they were watching every single stream, and they do. They watch all the streams. Anyone protesting Scientology, OSA is watching your streams. This is why I choose to do a form of protest right inside my house and talk about Scientology and talk about the abuses. Children are being abused right now doing the purification rundown in Scientology. They are absolutely actively recruiting. If you see a booth that says The Way to Happiness, that is just a front group for Scientology. The Volunteer Ministers is another front group for Scientology. The Volunteer Ministers during the fire of LA, they were actually caught on camera stealing donations that were meant to go to the fire victim so they could hand the items out. I've seen some very abusive practices in the Church of Scientology. They have tried to blame Leah Remini for some crimes that were not committed by her. Leah Remini did good work with Leah Remini in the Aftermath show, and so did Mike Rinder. And I honor Mike Rinder's memory. He did a lot to get a lot of people out of Scientology, and South Park was spot on the Z News story. Scientology does not want their members to learn outside information. Like, they will not allow them to watch the South Park episode. They don't allow them to read books without outside of their organization that they don't approve of. They don't approve of the books The Secret Garden. They don't approve of certain books. So if you're free, my question to any under-the-radar Scientologist, if you're free, why can't you read any book that you want? Or if you're free, why can't you leave and go enjoy a day at the beach? Or if you're free, why do you got to work 20 hours a day or between 16 and 20 hours a day? This is not normal. In Florida, they're trying to lower the child labor laws and lower the age where children can work. And they can work without a working permit. I believe they are trying to lower it to 16. There are children as young as 14 years old working. This creates an issue with children not going to school. Like, children need to be educated on things. Children need to have their education. And I support people who are in the educational field. Right now, with what is happening with Trump and trying to get rid of the Department of Education that supports local communities and supports local educators, this is not okay. I know in Delaware we are trying to keep our educators funded, and it's very difficult when you have politicians in there that don't care. I've seen this with the politicians. I have not heard back from Lisa Blunt Rochester on my letter. I have not heard back from Kamala Harris either. And I wrote them months ago. So please keep up the fight. We need to get the word out that Scientology is a human trafficking cult. I do this from the comfort of my own home. And for anyone to question what I am doing, please stop. I do support the SPTV Foundation. If you are trying to leave the Church of Scientology, the SPTV Foundation can help you. Please go look at the sptvfoundation.org. There's also fake accounts being created underneath people's names. I've seen one for a fake Leah Remini. Her handlers need to get rid of this person because they want people to talk in WhatsApp app, and I do not have a WhatsApp app, and I find that there's a lot of criminals working in the WhatsApp app. This happened to a friend of mine. She thought she was talking to the real Joey Tempest, and she had $1,500 stolen from her. We need to put an end to those fake accounts too as well. But for the Freedom of Information Act, I suggest people go and look. Look at all the abuses of Scientology. I have spoken about Whitney Mills and Lisa McPherson on this channel. I do good content, and I do try to create good and meaningful content. When you strict routines of individuals within an organization, it's definitely a high control group. When you create division when there is none, that's a high control group too as well. People are fighting the Church of Scientology in their own way. We don't always have to agree or disagree or do the same thing. Yes, people want me to go out and protest and put flyers up, but I don't have the resources to do that right now. And my channel is so small at this point. I don't have resources like that. My hours have been cut at work. If I had the money to do everything that like everyone else is doing, like Dusty. Oh my God, I love Dusty. He was out there last night at a concert protesting. Erica's out there 4 days a week protesting. She was targeted by Scientology and this corrupt cop that had a power trip and arrested her. He arrested her while she was vulnerable, protesting Scientology. When you go and protest, please have multiple members with you so that way you could be backed up if something were to happen. I do the content that I can on my channel when I have time. And I find that black and white thinking is so harmful in this community. We are all here fighting the Church of Scientology. Scientology has abused so many of its members. Please go and watch Mike Brown's video about the asbestos information out there that his mother suffered at the hands of Scientology, scraping asbestos without any protective gear, and now she has severe lung issues. Her own mother never had lung issues. She lived to be 97 years old. God bless her heart. She lived a long life. Rosemary deserves justice, and I really hope she does get it, because it falls on the line of elder abuse. And Scientology is known for its elder abuse. A lot of the Scientologists you see that are older, they're hunched over, they haven't gotten the care that they need. They maybe get one physical a year. If you do are diagnosed with cancer, it's up to you to pay for all that. For me, Scientologists need to get on Medicaid or Medicare to help them go through all these life changes, because there's a lot of life changes. I'm going through menopause right now and it's kicking my butt. I can tell you I've gained at least 30 pounds. And it's not a pleasant feeling. It leaves me with Scientology, the way that they control your thinking and thoughts too. They make you feel less than human. They make you feel like it's always your fault. This is why they have a snitch culture, and they write KR reports on each other, which a KR report is a knowledge report. Aaron has discussed this many times on his channel. You can go look it up too. The fair gaming tactic is another way to control members on the outside. Not to talk about Scientology. And the number one rule in Scientology is not to talk about Scientology. David Miscavige doesn't even allow its members to talk about Scientology. You have to go and look at a video board. They are actively recruiting at the test center again. They are also actively recruiting at flea markets. Thank God there is no Oregon, Delaware. But if there were, I would be protesting at it. The closest org to me is either in Washington, D.C. or in Philadelphia. So my form of protest is doing it from the comfort of my own home. People should not be questioning that, because I have talked about Scientology and Scientology tactics. And I have done my research too on writing my Congress people, and I'm going to continue to do so. I'm also going to write Chris Coons, because he's really down to earth. And so is Linda Blunt Rochester. My mom used to work with her when she was at the Department of Human Services. That's another thing. RFK, who is in there with Trump, he wants to take away all psychiatric drugs. He claims there's too many children being put on psychiatric drugs. This is not true. People need to get on board with people getting the help that they deserve. I know people who are bipolar. My former stepsister Heidi has passed away. She had schizophrenia. She literally was self-coping and drank herself to death. This kind of behavior is irresponsible. We need to have a better system in place. Mental health is a big deal. This is why I take time for myself to do other content other than Scientology content. Scientology is a big focus in my life, but also so is doing other content. There are people leaving the space because they've been harassed. I've been harassed by so many members out of Nora's chat, out of DOA's chat. I've had people make lies about me. I am not a troll. I do what I can from the comfort of my own home. And if people don't agree with that, please just honor my wishes. I choose to protest inside my own home. I support all the channels that are doing the work fighting against Scientology. I also support Liz Ferris in her journey to become a nurse. That is commendable. She will make a better nurse than some of the nurses that are in there that have poor bedside manner. I support people who are fighting the Church of Scientology. The Commission on Human Rights pays people off to antagonize the protesters. I'm pretty sure they are paying DOA right now. I'm pretty sure they're paying DOA, and I don't support that. I also don't support the fact that they have given money to ZDT. ZDT is awful. And I've seen it in ZDT's chat where 86 GOP has absolutely given ZDT money. We need to stop supporting this type of behavior. I love the work that Dan Walks LA does. I love the work that Streets LA does. I love the work that Jessica Pomadeska did. We have to get on the same page, and I support the people that protest every single day because I support anyone in this movement. Whether you are supporting the channels and commenting on the channels, that is good too as well. That's your form of supporting the channels. I'd support that also. Not everybody does things the same way. So we need to get off this page that everyone needs to protest. Because no, not everyone needs to protest. There's people working on things behind the scenes. And you need to support that too as well. Thank you and have a great day.